Good. How are you? How are the girls?
Oh, they're excellent.
Sanaa was born really premature, and she was a twin. She was about 4 months early. She was in the neonatal intensive care unit at another institution to stabilize her for about the first 7 to 8 months of her life.
Unfortunately, because of Sanaa's long prematurity, she wasn't able to wean off the ventilator. I think they tried maybe 4 to 6 times to wean her off, and on the 6th attempt she coded 2 times in one night, and it was at that time that they decided to give her a trach. She was there until they were able to stabilize her.
I'm really thrilled to hear how she's talking.
And when she came to us at Rabida, she was on a ventilator and dependent on it. She was very small. If you walked in a room or touched her or spoke to her, she would startle and her heart rate would go up, and she needed a lot of care.
When Michaela was released, she was released from the hospital with a nasal cannula. So I had to make the choice whether or not I was able to come up to the hospital to visit Sanaa at the same time, because Michaela was still pretty fragile. I was overwhelmed with trying to go back and forth between the two places. And I know when we first moved from one hospital to the next, which was here, I was just amazed at coming through the door how warm it was and comforting that I could leave my child here and not have to worry about her.
And so we felt very comfortable. And there were days when we couldn't get here, and where Sanaa was here, 2 or 3 nights by herself. And the nursing staff kind of claimed her as their own child. So that was pretty impressive as well.
The staff just took to her right away. It was almost like Sanaa was a rock star when she would come through the doors. Everyone knew her on a first name basis. It wasn't a medical record number, it wasn't a patient, it was Sanaa. And it gave you such comfort to know that she was cared for so lovingly here. It was almost like a sanctuary when I would come here to visit Sanaa. It was like my respite time to spend with my child. I didn't have to wonder what was going on with her or worry about what was going on with her. There were a number of nurses that were key, such as Rosalba, who was over the education component. I know a lot of times I would go into the educational training on the ventilator and how to care for Sanaa once she's discharged, and I would think to myself that there was no way possible I'd be able to take such a fragile child and manage her on my own at home, and she gave me all the necessary tools.
She was like any other parent, initially nervous and hesitant to start and touch anything that was going to make an alarm go off. So it was amazing to see how she was at the end when she was ready to take Sanaa home.
When you're home, it's just you, and all of the responsibility for caring for this child falls upon your shoulders. And I remember that there was so much in our training with Rosalba that while you may get frustrated, while you may think, oh, they'll be fine once they're stabilized and they make it home, there's so many occurrences where you can lose this child, and we had quite a few, and I thank God that we had the training that we had.
And so at some point, she actually stopped breathing and was not moving. And so based on what we learned, we just said, you know what, let's just pull it out. And so basically, I pulled out the trach, and it's discovered that there was a large mucus plug. So this mucus plug had developed because the ventilator, the humidifier on the ventilator wasn't working. And so we didn't know this, obviously, but you need humidity in order to get through the secretions so that it doesn't get thick, in which case it had gotten thick. It was like having a piece of glue in your windpipe. And so with that, you can't breathe. And so she actually decompensated and became apneic and stopped breathing. And so once we took out the trach, which is what we kind of learned, they said basically just start fresh. If in doubt, just take out the trach and put another one in. And within seconds, she peaked back up and was looking great. And it was a moment that we'll never forget.
They work with their child here, and they're training in all aspects of their care, and essentially they are. They are the nurse, they're the pharmacist, they're the dietitian.
For me, it was just a blessing to all of us to have such loving people in our lives, and it influenced me to want to be able to pay it forward for what was done to us. And so I did, after, I want to say, 2 years, I went into nursing school and was able to secure a job at St. Mary's Hospital, where I'm working on the acute rehab in the facility where they do PT, OT, speech, the same therapies that were given to the girls, working with people in that capacity. When Sanaa was born and she was an inpatient at the other hospital, one of the things that they constantly told us was that these children were born on the cusp of viability. And in saying that, it was almost like you should be grateful that they've made such a huge gain after their birth. But we wanted more for her than just being able to make it. Just seeing where she is now and seeing where she was then is so far removed from where they thought she would be. And when I came to Rabida, I remember Dr. Roy walking into the room, and you can just see in her eyes the hope that she had for this little girl. Even though she was covered in tubes, even though she was so edematous from all of the fluids that were on her, she just looked at her and she was like, we're going to set up this protocol to wean her off of these medications. And you could see that she saw past what this little child was at that point and where she could be. And from the moment that she took Sanaa under her wing, her, Dr. Rohr, and so many of the other physicians, they saw where she could be in the future. Anybody
who has the opportunity to donate to make this place better, I think they should really consider doing that. We'll always donate on a yearly basis, just based on our experiences and the things that this place has accomplished. So we really wish that every other child who's placed in this kind of situation can be so fortunate to be here as well.